Welcome. This is an intro for Whispers from the Raven's Nest. My name is Raven, and I just thought it was a fitting name. So, I guess kind of what this is going to be about, at least so far, is it's just going to be a collection of my thoughts. A collection of thoughts, reflections, downloads from spirit, whatever may come through. This channel, first and foremost, is for me, a way to express my thoughts, to speak. This channel is a living ritual and a living prayer of me expanding my capacity to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed, and to share. Because even in the things that I share as a way to speak and practice that, I know that there are bits of wisdom that might be able to help support someone else on their journey. Things will be discussed in the realms of spirituality, life, relationships, probably, astrology, magic, growth in general, wellness, mind, body, and spirit, ritual, sacredness, beauty, whatever it may be. Those are all things that I'm interested in, and I practice and I study, and I've studied over the years in different aspects, just to kind of, I guess, give you a little idea of some of the things that may come up. I tried to create a recording yesterday. It's Monday now. Monday, what's today? I don't even know what today is. What's the date? May 5th, 2025. It's about 3:32 a.m. And I just could not sleep. Because I also want to practice not being perfect in what I say. Not worrying about it, not overthinking it. Just being able to speak my truth and not having this internal censorship. Yes, to a certain degree. Certain things I might not say to certain levels or certain degrees in certain spaces for certain reasons, which I can get into at another time, another recording, whatever it may be. But for the most part, like I said, this really is a living ritual prayer and devotion to my own growth. And Spirit has called me to do this. I've honestly been thinking about starting a YouTube channel personally for a while now. When I say a while, over a year. And I just haven't for various reasons. But it came to me that this is important, and this is, I guess, at this point in time where it's time. Like I said, I could not sleep. I just felt this energy in my chest, almost like I couldn't breathe. And then ideas, Spirit has been dropping in all of these ideas on episodes and topics to talk about. And I asked, like, hi, self, can you just hold it till later when I can write them down? And sometimes when Spirit moves and downloads happen, they just happen. And for me, that's not anything new or different for them to be dropping in at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock a.m. and not being able to sleep or waking up from it. So I just said, let me just go ahead and record this. And because I was playing around with it because I'm in an open space. So it might be a little bit of an echo once it comes through. But for this first episode, I'll play around with the recording and it's going to be how it's going to be. So, I guess that's enough with an intro. So I guess for now, I'll speak what has been coming up for me. And like I said, it's been about expanding my capacity to be seen, to be heard, and to be witnessed. I've practiced it before in other ways, and being on camera and speaking and sharing my wisdom, and that's great. But what is being called for me to practice is being more consistent in it for various reasons. For one, because it's important in the work that I'm doing moving forward, professionally and personally, just how I show up, to be more grounded in trust in that, and that I'm showing up and not feeling a need to overanalyze what I say and how I say it, and let things just flow through more. I've shown up in spaces where I just let spirit flow through, especially when I go into my, I guess, when I start to channel, if I'm doing work with someone, friends or family, or whatever the case may be is. And it's like when I go into that zone, I ground in, I trust, and at the same time I can overanalyze or question. And when I'm in the flow state with spirit, it just flows. And that's great. And it's also when maybe things, like I said, things are dropping in, but I'm not in that flow state where it's just I'm fully tuned in. It's also important that I'm still able to remain graciously grounded in that connection that is there, because it's always there. We're always connected to our high selves, to spirit, to our team, whoever we may work with, and the divine around us. That's just the truth also. And there are levels to that connection, to that flow, depending on what's going on and what's being required of you in that moment. So I've learned from that experience to trust those when I'm fully in, whether it's I'm creating something completely dropped in, a co-creation from me and spirit, whether it's a incense, because I love creating natural incense, especially resins and resin-based ones, maybe with some herbs mixed in. I absolutely love resins. Or I'm creating, as I say, a potion, which is really a beautiful magical tea. I work with cacao a lot, which is a raw chocolate. It's used in a lot of spiritual ceremonies for heart healing and heart opening. I will go into that in another episode also. So if I'm creating a beautiful potion, as I say, with cacao and roses and cinnamon and slightly sweetened and all of that, I'm in a state of flow, and it just comes through. And I'm able to create something beautiful in that moment. And I just let that be. Or whether I'm creating a magic oil, like a road opening oil, because I practice candle magic too. Or I'm in the middle of a candle or a ritual with candle magic and Reiki, or whatever the case may be is. Or if I'm offering plant medicine to somebody, I've mainly done it with friends and family, people close to me. I haven't really done it too much professionally yet. That's a whole thing. That's more on the business aspect. I'll probably get into that on another thing too. I'm just throwing in bits and pieces this episode, just so you can kind of get a feel for me, an introduction, and also honoring the stirring within me right now in this moment to go ahead and speak this. and letting it be what it's going to be. So yeah, basically I'm just being called to practice being seen and heard more, really just speaking. Being visible, yes, in some ways. I'm feeling like for now, some of these episodes, they won't be as much video, they'll be more audio. At first I felt like, is that really? But I'm really how I should show up. But this channel is about what I need in this moment, and trusting that even in that, I'm going to be able to help support someone, even if it's just connection. But first and foremost, that's what the intention for this channel is. And I'm also working through that, because a lot of times when we are working through expanding our capacity, it really comes down to the nervous system. Yes, there are mental things that we need to work through, and habits and everything else. And in that, it's about, in this human experience, if we really get down to the most physical aspects of it, is the human body in the earthly realm. And within that human body, one of the biggest things that helps us when it comes to expanding our capacity for anything, whether it is a healthier relationship, being able to receive and hold, being a better steward of money and other forms of currency, stepping into leadership more, becoming healthier in our body and fitness and weight loss or weight gain, whatever it may be, is our nervous system. The nervous system holds memories and patterns on what feels safe and comfortable. So it's important that we work with the nervous system in a way that we're not forcing, and we're slowly helping it to become more expansive in different ways through things like, maybe speaking, somatic work, and other things. So say, for example, now, say after I end up posting this, if maybe after that, if I start going into overthinking or whatever the case may be, is I may or may not, because I feel the shift of energy already. I've been called, the shifts have been happening. The last week or so within me, I've been feeling something shifting and changing, and a new transition, which I'm kind of already in a transition to because of other things. But it might just be like, okay, that's fine. So in that moment, if I do start to overthink, or if I start to feel a tenseness in my gut from feeling uncomfortable or nervousness or worrying about how it's received, I might need to take a moment to take a deep breath, speak to myself and say, it is okay, it is safe. This is something new. We're working in our capacity, and we're doing it in a way that's safe. Speaking, addressing the inner child, because usually a lot of times that's where those things stem from, and those things were locked in into the body. Habits, thought patterns, traumas, ways of beliefs or being. And of course it can still happen as we grow older, even sometimes if we're holding things that are not ours, like ancestral or collective. So I might say, just for example, how I work through things is, speaking to myself, saying it's okay, whether I'm voicing it out or I'm internally thinking it, depending on the space that I'm in when these things might come up. I might hold myself as if I'm hugging myself, slowly rubbing my arms up and down. That's a way of soothing the body and the nervous system. I might jump up and down a little bit just to move some energy. I might shake my body a little bit just to shake the energy. Or I might be completely fine. Some other energies might come up through the form of crying, or needing to, like, literally move energy and making sounds like primal screams or chanting or alming. Whatever the case may be, is I allow myself to do that in that moment. And I also know of my body's intelligence. Say that maybe I'm in a space later, it might not fully be appropriate for me to do that, like make loud sounds or whatever the case may be. So it's like I do what I can in that moment. And then when I'm in a space where it's more private or more outside or whatever the case may be, is then other things may come up for me to work through. I might just need to journal. I might just need a cup of some warm tea. Usually I like drinking as a way of soothing my body and my nervous system internally. Soups are great and grounding. Root vegetables are also tea, and I put a little ghee in it. That's more of an Ayurvedic thing I learned. Go into that also another time. But so I've learned a lot of tools already. For me, this has been over a decade plus journey of different things. So anyway, that's just an example. And also another thing that has been coming up, which they intertwine, is expanding my capacity to receive, to be in pleasure and play, and in a way being witnessed in that, which actually, like I said, intertwines with even being witnessed, whether it is being heard, being seen, both, whatever the case may be is. And it was also important for me to create this as a way, because when we don't honor certain deep desires or needs within us, it spills over into something else. And as I'm working through things, even on a business aspect, it's important for me to honor my needs outside of that, so that when I am showing up, whether now or moving forward, my needs and desires are not spilling over when I am in a place of space holding. Am I regularly doing things now business wise? Not in the regular capacity, not in the consistent capacity of holding space right now. No. Like I said, I'll go into that at another point, another episode. But it's just I've also learned that certain aspects it's important to always address within yourself. So just like a therapist needs a therapist, a coach needs a coach. That's just important, because as much as, no matter how good someone is in their capacity to show up for others, there's still a part of them that needs that for them. The human part, the part that has all these aspects to them, that can experience the emotions all throughout the spectrum. And if there's someone that does certain things, that those things are welcomed more fully, that's great. And even in that, there's still a level of integrity when you hold space for others. That is extremely important. So, yeah. Oh, so yes. And then also, like I said, expanding my capacity to receive. I noticed just intuitively, me, when I would meditate or maybe have something sweet, I would just take a few more moments of mindfulness just to sit in that and hold that and receive that. And yes, I've done that before, and things come up, and in the times that I did before, and that's great. I already had a certain comfort level and capacity, and now I'm being called to expand it even more for various reasons. So sometimes when it's time to expand, you might revisit certain things you've done that maybe it wasn't as, it's still natural. And sometimes it's important to bring more intention and mindfulness to that thing when you're in a place to expand that. I did this, it's actually funny. I did this kind of online event for women. More, anybody could join, but it was more geared towards women, and being okay more in pleasure and play and everything. And that was a while ago, maybe about a month or so ago. So for the last integration call, it was this thing called the Milk and Honey Masterclass Ritual. And I participated in it, and it was just, it just coincided. It's just synchronistic, of course. Things usually are. I'll just say that. and how we got into it, and we did this ritual and pleasure and play, and we talked and learned. But I've been noticing that frequency in my actions have been coming up more, like, let's just sit. Let's just take a little bit more time, an extra minute or two, just to sit in this feeling before we do anything else. Even if the mind wants to drift, let's set this intention. And then we move forward. Even still maintaining that bit of mindfulness within us, carrying that frequency and that energy. And I had forgot all about Beltane. There's so many things that have been going on. I have forgot about Beltane this year. I've celebrated it before. I don't necessarily, it's not a thing that I make a point to celebrate every year, but I've celebrated it before. And this year I forgot about it, and it was funny. Leading up to Beltane last week was when I had dropped into that receiving of pleasure and play and celebration and everything. And then when it came through, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. It's so hilarious to me, even at this point in my life, how things still are so synchronistic to how natural body intelligence really it is just channeling my connection with spirit and high self, and how I intuitively act on things, and then things come up like, oh, that makes sense. This was what was going on. Okay. And yeah. So I think those are the two main things. On top of other things, I'm in the process of healing from an accident. It was from last year, but I'm still in it. So I'm healing from that, and plus I'm just trying to maintain multiple things. So I'm also working on expanding my patience and trust and surrender, and allowing myself, even in this process, moving forward in the ways that I can, that I'm being called to, in a way that it's not forceful. It's surrender and trust. And sometimes moving forward is resting. Sometimes that's what is needed to move forward in a moment. So, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at this, where we're at for this episode. Yeah, like I said, I just really wanted to go ahead and get this out because I could not go to sleep, and Spirit just kept dropping things in, like, let's just go ahead and record this. So, yes, I hope this was helpful. I hope this, for anyone that is led to listen to this, gave you a better understanding of maybe me or some of the things that will come up. I'm not quite sure how I will structure this. I have some ideas. But yes, this is just my part of my living practice, prayer, ritual, devotion right now. A part that I'm allowing to be seen and witnessed. So, yes, talk to you soon. Blessings.